Not clickbait. True story. My dad died years ago on Valentine's Day. Like, quickest way to ruin the holiday. I've often told jokes of like, oh my God, like a box of chocolate is $10. He was really that cheap. He was like, nah, easier to die. So I have a very dark sense of humor every year on this day. But I thought it might be nice to hang out, share a little bit about that story with you, and talk about what I do every year on Valentine's Day as a way to find joy in a day that is really tough. Yeah, I thought I might spend some time talking with you all about the way I now treat this day, what I do for self-care, how it's evolved over time. A funny moment happened a few years ago. I was in graduate school, and we had class on February 14th, which was Valentine's Day, and I had a professor who I loved, so I gave her a heads up, and I said, and this was like at the end of class, so everyone was hanging out, but I gave her a heads up, and I was like, hey, I actually won't be in class next week on the 14th, and she goes really loudly, she was like, you're skipping class for Valentine's Day? And she like went hard and kind of made fun of me and got a little mad, and I quietly was like, no, my dad died on Valentine's Day, and it's a really hard day for me, so I'm going to make sure I'm not alone on that day, and I'm going to go be with family. And she started crying in front of everyone, and she was like, lesson learned on my behalf. And she's like my favorite. So that was okay. So for years, I did not do stand-up on Valentine's Day. For years, I got depressed, would be with friends, but like a select group of people. I always did one thing, and it may be as helpful for one of you who had someone die or experienced a loss on any day, not just a holiday. And I would write a letter to my dad every year on Valentine's Day, and then I do whatever with it feels right. I've burnt it, I've flushed it, I've saved it, I've put it in a book so I find it another time. But I think for me, I love letting me really feel all of the things that are hard to feel, and like really putting in the letter what I wish he knew, what I wish he wasn't missing, what I wish he was proud of, what I hope he sees. I almost treat it like a day where I can really process, and I don't want to say like communicate with him, but a day where it's okay. I'm allowed to like just have that consume me for the whole day. It's a Pam day. In college, one year was really struggling. I was depressed, I was going through it, and I decided to lock myself in my room alone on February 14th and just like be sad and depressed. And one of my closest friends, who this was the greatest thing she ever did, she kidnapped me. She kidnapped me out of my room. She named the day Ma'am Day, Megan and Pam Day, and we went for chicken wings and beer. And despite being really sad, I still laughed a ton that night. So that was the first kind of experience of finding joy in the holiday. And on that day, it's weird that he died on a holiday. I think, right, it's weird no matter what, but I keep seeing people being like, happy Valentine's Day, Valentine's Day, Valentine's Day. And it feels like reminders every 5 seconds, So for years then, I would be with a friend or two friends, but really like Valentine's Day wasn't about being with the guy I was dating. Valentine's Day was about being with family or a good friend and like just breathing and finding joy where I could and writing that letter. But I never did stand up on the day. And about 5 years ago, I found myself writing a bunch of jokes. Another comic who is one of my favorites was like, Pam, I'm really sorry you lost your dad. And I was like, no, I didn't. I didn't lose him. I know exactly where he is. And I was like, he's literally exactly where I last left him. And this guy was like, oh, geez. And I really enjoyed that. I made him feel like that. And I started having these other moments of like writing jokes, not about my dad dying, but about things people said to me. I mean, I remember someone said to my mom, my dad designed Corvettes. And someone said to my mom, like, God must have wanted a Corvette. And I was like, then he could have had a Volvo. What the hell? So there were, a lot of like anger and sadness. I started writing jokes about it. And so about 5 years ago, I decided to try doing stand-up on February 14th. So I booked a show and definitely ruined some couples' day, but also got them to laugh. And then I was like, yep, that helped. That was good. Need more of that. So I ended up booking like 5 more shows in the city, and I just bounced around comedy show to comedy show and made jokes, which was so needed and so great and so cathartic. But I really give myself the choice every year on like what's going to feel good this year, where I'm at in my life. what's going to feel meaningful, what's going to help me find some joy, and that's what I do. I this year I'm doing something. This year's different. First of all, I'm going to be alone for the first time ever because I'm quarantined in the city. So for the first time ever, I'm spending a tough holiday alone. But on the flip side, I'm doing a Zoom performance, and I'm opening for Maya Bialik from The Big Bang Theory. She's doing a cooking show, and I get to open for her with comedy. So, I get to keep that in mind, that yes, the day's going to be really hard. I'm nervous about being alone. I've never been alone on this day. But on the flip side, I have something really fun to look forward to. So I'm excited about that. I mean, it's clean comedy, but it's comedy. So I'm excited to do that. And yeah, I feel like I don't talk a ton about having a parent die, but it's a tough thing to go through. I went through it when I was much younger. I was the first in my friend group to have anything like that happen. And sometimes, I've had a lot of friends now who have had a parent die or someone in their family die. And as much as it sucks I went through it, it's kind of nice that I get to be there for those people in a way that, I really feel like I'm not going to do or say the wrong thing. I'm known for saying, you're right, this absolutely sucks. So many people at a funeral will try to make you feel better. And no, there's no feeling better. This is awful. Can't we just be honest about that? That's okay. And I love that I think I have a little more insight to help my friends navigate those moments. So yeah. Oh, I should tell you a little bit about what happened to my dad, shouldn't I? My dad was a cool dude. I'll post a photo of him. My dad was a really cool dude. He designed Corvettes. Corvettes were his passion, starting from when he was 15. He owned a company in Ohio that designed fiberglass parts of Corvettes. I don't understand anything about cars. He designed with one of the top Corvette designers ever, Zora Duntov. So I have in a safety deposit box. If you're a Corvette fan, you know who Zora Duntov is. And Zora, right after my sister and I were born, gave my mom little handmade Corvette handmade Corvette, tiny little, could go on a necklace, charms, that's the word, tiny Corvette charms that he made. So, he's long dead at this point, but I've got this really cool Corvette charm. Also, let's see if you can see it. I don't want to have to get it, but the very top there, do you see that? That is a wireframe Corvette. And I keep that in my apartment as to remember my dad. So my dad got cancer. I think he actually got it before I was even born. Because he designed Corvettes, it was before they knew that asbestos caused cancer. And so while he wore a mask a lot of the time when he was touching up a car, because they didn't know the studies, every now and again he would touch up the car without wearing a mask. And what's annoying is that the asbestos company did know it caused cancer. They just hadn't told the public yet. So my dad and his good friend both got lung cancer, and my dad did not make it. He died. He fought hard. He died on Valentine's Day, as I've said. I guess the story leading up to it is he kind of knew that he only had a few days left. And so my mom and his mom were sitting around his bed deciding who was going to sleep at the hospital each night. And I was little, but they were deciding who was going to sleep at the hospital each night. And I remember my mom told me that, my grandma was like, I'll take Wednesday. And then, her husband was like, I'll take this day. And then my mom was like, I'll take this day. And he was like, no, I don't. And he just kept saying no. And my mom said he realized he didn't have that many days left. So I miss having a dad. I haven't really had one. But I'm thankful that I've got, a little bit of him. By the way, he had Tourette's. So I got a little bit of him. And sometimes when Tourette's sucks or hurts or it's painful, I'll be like, but you know what? I have that in common with my dad. Nice little way for us to feel connected. He actually was never diagnosed. He died before he was diagnosed because diagnoses didn't happen until a little bit later. But yeah, so I guess I just wanted to make a video and share that with you all. It's hard to talk about something a little bit more serious, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. My dad was such a cool dude. He did karate. He was a black belt, which he had a studio, a karate studio over the car place. I mean, he was such a dude. He did karate. He designed cars. My baby pictures are me on Corvettes. But I'm thankful for the time I had with him. And I'm thankful that, some of my genetics came from him. So yeah. And if you celebrate today, well, it's a made-up holiday. You do you. I'm never against a day to celebrate love and eat chocolate. So if you celebrate Happy Valentine's Day, if you are like me and you have had a loved one die on a holiday or on another day, I'm sending you extra love today. I know any holiday can bring up things for everyone. So do whatever feels right for you. I'm going to say it, but in a different context today, like you do you. And if that means on this day you need to eat chocolate and lay under the covers, do that. If it means you're going to take yourself out for a nice brunch and have a mimosa the size of your face, do that. And if it means hanging out with a loved one, do that. So do you. Do whatever feels right. Mwah! Love you all.